Good evening, my friend. Welcome to WDW Radio Live. I am your friend, Lou Mongello. It is Wednesday. It is my favorite night of the week. And together, me and you, we are celebrating tonight. Not just another day on this side of the dirt, which makes it a good day by my definition, but we are celebrating 700 episodes of WDW Radio. And if my math is right, it's about 17, almost 18 years of the show and podcasting. So there was no way I was going to miss tonight's show, because tonight is going to be all about you. And if you tuned into this week's show, thank you so very much for listening, whether it was your first time or your 700th or more, if you go back to the Mouse Tunes days back in 2005. But I appreciate everybody from the WDW Radio Nation who participated in the show, and those of you in the clubhouse who sent in some questions on Facebook, as well as those of you who left voicemails. Of course, minutes after the show aired, and a lot of people going, oh, I didn't even know that I could post a question in the clubhouse, and I didn't get a chance to leave a voicemail in time. So tonight is all going to be about you. It is not about me, but it's about you. It's about the show. It's about the clubhouse. It's about the community that you have built. I mean it when I say I just built the clubhouse. You populate it. You invite and encourage others to create and nurture this incredibly warm and welcoming and wonderful community that I am blessed and grateful to be just a very, very small part of. So tonight I'm going to put on my goggles, and I'm just going to listen to you. You can ask me questions about the show. You can ask me questions about almost anything that I'll answer. No, I will not reveal the grease tape tonight, but and Becky Mankin, literally like on cue, says it's about asking you, where is the grease tape? I can tell you where the grease tape is. That's not going to help you. I will tell you that it is hermetically sealed in an airtight vault that not only does no one know where it is, but no one knows how to access it. Maybe on my deathbed, I will have a rosary in one hand and the grease tape in the other, and that's all that had happened. So thank you. And for all of you who are saying congratulations, thank you, but turn that around on yourself, because this does not happen. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. None of this happens without you. Otherwise, I would be talking to myself for 17 years, which would make me a crazy person. I think if you sort of go to the definition of crazy person, it would be someone who talks to himself, even for less than 17 years. So this is about you. This is about us. So thank you. Robert Vogt says, happy 700th. One of the first podcasts I listened to back is when people asked what a podcast was. Robert, that is why the name of the show is WDW Radio, which makes no sense now because, one, nobody listens to the radio. Kids don't even know what a radio is. And I do live video, and we do live events, and I do recorded video. So, but the idea was, because people didn't understand what a podcast was, you knew that radio was going to be some sort of spoken word medium. And that is why I chose WDW Radio. So it identifies exactly what it was when you heard it. Andy Dorley, I can say we're old because we're both the same age, my old friend from Villanova University. It's good to see you, brother. Thank you for being here. William says, I'll be sure to eat your portion at the Boathouse tomorrow. That's a big portion, William. That is I have been carb loading my entire life. Beatrice Dennis, who I remember meeting at a Disney event back in 2005 when it was held at the Swan Ballroom, the small little Swan Ballroom, and then going over to the Tomorrowland Terrace Noodle Station for trivia. Remember I had the laminated A, B, C, and D cards, and you had your Winnie the Pooh. And Beatrice and I have known each other a long, long time. So love you as well, Beatrice. You are super, super special. Tom Froy says, when I listened to some of the earlier podcasts, you sounded a lot more mellow. Now you're brimming with enthusiasm and energy. Has that evolved, or were you suppressing your natural energy back then? It's never been a conscious decision one way or the other. I think I was way more nervous. I go back and I listen to episode 1, and I sound like I sound like Becky Menken on show 63. That's how petrified I think I said. going off on my own the week after ending Mouse Tunes was a very frightening leap of faith. It really, really was. And when I tell you that it took me 6 hours to produce that god awful 6.5 minute podcast, it is not an exaggeration in any stretch of the imagination. My favorite meal on a Disney cruise, I will take chicken tenders late night in my stateroom out of the equation. Dinner at 1923 is exceptional. And don't even bother. Just if you go, tell your server, I don't need the menu, that's fine, because I'm going to have the tuna, the filet, medium at best. You can also get the pasta like to share or just as your second entree. And I'm not a sweets guy, but that little apple cheesecake thing is absolutely delicious. It's the best restaurant on Disney Cruise Line. Paulo, I'm looking at you. Hannah Bird said, I listened to show 700 today. It was a wonderful walk down memory lane. Thank you. I was also nervous about doing 700. I'm not going to lie to you. I was very, very nervous about doing 700 because I never wanted to seem like it's about me or to be self-serving. And even after it was over, like I asked some people, like, was that okay? Like, is this okay for me to post? Because I was really concerned about it. But my question is, what are your dreams for the future, at least of WDW Radio? Come closer and I will tell you. I have no idea. And that, to me, is the most exciting and intriguing and wonderfully frightening part about all this, is because I'm a firm believer, if you want to make God laugh, tell him what you're doing tomorrow. And look, I am always looking forward. I'm never complacent. I'm always looking to do what's next, right? And I think back, like, over the years, that's always been the way I've thought about being sort of forward thinking. It's why I did the audio tours. It's why I started doing like live video back in 2007, which started literally in my basement on Ustream. Like, hit me up if you were on Ustream back in the old 2007 days. Periscope, Meerkat, live video, mobile live video from the parks. I used to carry my laptop around. 360-degree video, 360-degree photos. The list goes on and on. So I'm always looking 3 steps ahead. I'm always looking to do what is next, which makes the road ahead very mysterious, but also very exciting. And it continues to make this very fun. And I love that question. So thank you. Chuck Lionberger, happy to have been honored to have been a guest on a few shows. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. And you've always been so friends. You've been a good friend and so very supportive. And I miss when we did the meet in Roanoke. Roanoke? Years and years ago. That was a great time. Let me go. What is my favorite area of Pecos Bill? So, Amy, it depends. It depends if I just want to sort of be quiet and sort of on my own. I'll sneak up if it's open. I will go up the ramp all the way into the back, into that area that borders Adventureland, because it's usually really quiet in there. You get a nice little bit of natural light from the doorway that opens out into that sort of open plaza there. But if I'm with friends and if the Fixins bar is open and I need like a quick hit, I like to be like where everybody is. I don't like normally being away and excluded from other people, if that makes sense. The best James Bond film. This is about 007. I know it's a fun question. Man, there is something about Dr. No being the very first one. Man, I remember watching Moonraker, The Man with the Golden Gun, when I was a kid. Luis Ramos, who sends me on a daily basis, usually at least 3 times, food-related pictures and videos. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. When did Choose the Good start or come from? Somebody else might remember it better, because somebody asked me a question the other day, and I don't recall. It happened very organically. It was either on a live show or on a podcast. I was just talking about something, and it sort of fell out of my mouth, and I was like, "Oh, I like that." Like, it very much is the embodiment of like who I am and my like philosophy about a lot of things. and it sort of like stuck. And I don't remember how long ago it was, but choose the good is not just what I say, but it's who I am. And if you know me, you know very well that that is true. Linda Lammers, who I love so much, I met about 8 years ago. You and your family, oh, you're making me cry. Changed my life. Love to all. Love you as well, Linda. Thank you, Gina Flacco. Thank you very much. Tyler Ford is only 500 episodes behind. He just has Tyler has a little bit of catching up to do. Pamela says, "I was so happy when you started this after mourning the end of Mouse Tunes. Thank you." Yeah, that was that early part of February, 2007 was one of the most difficult periods I've ever had to go through because it very much was like a divorce. And um, it's fine, and I have no ill will towards Nathan, and together he and I started doing something that literally changed Mouse Tunes, not WDW Radio, is changed the course of my life. Like, so I owe Nathan a lot, and I'm grateful to and for him for that. But it was a very difficult conversation, and we're like, all right, we have to just record, like, let's just turn a mic on, and we're going to record like a final show. And right before, I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm starting my own show next week, and we're live. And that's sort of how it happened, because if I would have waited any stretch of time, I would have lost everybody. Or if I would have hoped that you would have found the show, so I had to sort of let people know on that episode that I was starting up again the next week. Again, a very, very scary, but there's a lesson here, right? The scariest things often have not the greatest consequences, but the greatest rewards. Like, if there's something that really scares you, that you're afraid to do, chances are all the good stuff happens on the other side of being afraid. So, especially as we come to the end of the year and we look towards, I don't like resolutions, but we look towards new chapters in our life in the coming of the new year. This is the time to take that leap of faith. Let's see. I feel like when I'm going on my cruise next year, I feel I have to try room service chicken tenders, all because of Lou. You are welcome, because yes, you will. I don't know why. I love the ones on deck 11, but for some reason they hit better when you're in your stateroom, in your little pajamas or whatever it is that you wear in your stateroom. Just be dressed when they deliver it, and you're in there and you fire up a movie on demand, and the chicky tendies like come in. Oh man, that's a good time right there. That is a good time. Let's see. If I could go old school and do a DSI, which I will bring back. Well, I still sort of do, though. I don't necessarily call them DSIs, but especially like the stuff that I do with Kendall, who I love, by the way. She's very, very good. She's an amazing researcher. If I could do it on a current locale attraction resort, what would it be? It's interesting because I think I sort of touch on certain things as they come up lightly, but sometimes I don't go super, super deep. I don't know. I might even go like old school, like really take a deep, deep dive on Pirates, the same way we did a deep dive on Haunted Mansion. Maybe we'll put a poll in the clubhouse if somebody wants to do this. What current attraction would you like me to see me do a DSI, Disney Scene investigation on? And I will add it to the list. Will we be at Boardwalk again during Marathon Weekend? Yes, I will be there for handshakes and hugs and high fives, etc., etc., and I look forward to it. 500 more till I'm caught up, says Tyler. Somebody said, Angela Batista said, OMG, the apple cheesecake was amazing. I don't lie. I really don't. Even if it's about sweets, which is not necessarily in my wheelhouse. So, who tops the list for potential interviews for next? So there's potential interviews, and there are sort of brass ring interviews. I've said, I think I even said on the show, I would love to interview Michael Eisner. I have this sort of mental running list of people that I would love to talk to. Look, Dick Van Dyke is certainly would be one, because like a lot of people, from that, he's not going to be around forever. And I would love to capture some of his stories in audio format and be able to share those and just talk to him as a fan. Who is the greatest podcast guest of all time? Claire, there's no way I'm answering that question because every guest is the greatest guest of all time. Every guest is, they're and I can't answer it because I think it's a very subjective question. Because what does greatest mean? Was it, for me personally, the person I got to speak to, the person that brought the greatest value, the person that shared the most intriguing story? I mean, I can go back to George McGinnis, and what was he, 9, 10, somewhere around there? Like, going all the way back, he might not be one that you remembered, but I remember him telling stories I'd never heard before. So I think greatest is a very subjective, again, it could be a poll and maybe should be a poll in the clubhouse because the greatest interview is very much determined. It's very much a personal thing. Did I know the audio guides on CD would be successful? You never know, right? You never know. And what is success, right? How do you define success? For me, being successful meant that I got it finished. Like when I held that first Main Street audio guide, audio tour in my hand, it was like my first book. Like I did it. I was able to do this thing. I was able to give myself this personal challenge and see it to completion and hopefully make people happy along the way. But I never, for anything, I never set a numerical value, whether it is sales, downloads, dollar figures, and attach it to anything I do, because that's not the barometer of my success. That's just not how it's just not how I measure it. Kevin Lively, I hear you singing this. I want to be where the fixins are. I'm not going to keep going because I might accidentally sing it if I do it. Dave Jules from Edison, New Jersey says, Choose the Good was the response to some kind of bad Disney news that had the fan base in a tizzy. Dave Jules, there's never Disney news that gets the fan base in a tizzy. Come on, everybody is nice and happy and whatever. Louis Ramos says, I remember joining WDW Radio when I saw Lou's video on top 5 snacks for $5 back in the 2000s. Still to this day, I wait to hear the next top 5. If only there was anybody who would go to the parks with me and do some top 5 snacks. I will see. Jeremy Goff of Goff Stock fame says, hello from the dock at Wilderness Lodge, waiting to go to Magic Kingdom. While you're there, go run over, get a bison burger, and take it with you to go, because that's good eating right there. Thank you for being here, brother. Jeremy Buck, it's good seeing you too, buddy. Kendall Foreman, there you are. I'm way behind on the chat as I'm scrolling through. I used to love listening to the DSIs while waiting in the queue for the attraction. Part of the idea with those and even the audio tours was being able to listen to them as you were in the location to really help you visualize what was right in front of you, but you might have missed had you not had it pointed out to you. Do a DSI on Tower. I think I did Tower of Terror. Maybe I didn't. If somebody could let me know, maybe I didn't do Tower of Terror. Dan Collins says, not a sweets. I said not a sweets guy, so he's taking a drink. Be careful. I love the audio guides. Wish there were more. So Deb, the plan always was to do a complete series of audio guides. I painted myself into a little bit of a corner, and I'll explain very briefly why. Doing an audio tour is like writing a book, and it's like writing a book. So it's like researching a book and then writing a book and then turning that book into a script. Originally, I was sort of constrained by the 74 minutes of an audio CD. Now, because they were all digital, I didn't have that. But the research, the writing, the editing, the recording, the producing, and all that, let's just say, just to sort of make it an even number, that it takes a year. Because it does. It takes a long time to do those. I might be able to streamline the process a little bit, but for argument's sake and for illustrative purposes, we'll call it a year. Let's say I was to do Epcot next. I would have to do one that would be sort of an overall history of Epcot. I would have to do an overall Future World, an overall World Showcase. That's 3. 11 pavilions, that's 14. 9 other pavilions, that's 23. It would take me 23 years to do Epcot. Even if I cut that in half and did 2 a year, it would still take me 11 and a half years just to do Epcot, assuming I did nothing else. So I'm trying to find a way to do it. DSIs is sort of like the closest way to do them without doing the actual audio chores. What attraction from the Disney parks around the world would I like to see most in Disney World? So, Kelly, my immediate answer is none, because having those attractions in other locations is the reason that we love going, right? It's not just for the parks, but it is the attractions. That being said, if I had to move two attractions from other parks, first and foremost would be Mystic Manor. I think Mystic Manor is this is a topic for once we go to Paris, which is coming very soon. Becky, close your ears because I'm going to announce it right now, the London Paris trip. When we go to London Paris, I will be able to come back and say that I've now seen all the parks, and I will tell you what my top 10 best attractions worldwide are, but Mystic Manor is number one, and it's really, really hard to beat. Pirates in Shanghai is remarkably good, but there is something special, very, very special, and there's not a lot of attractions I would consider special, right? Haunted Mansion is special, Pirates here and Disneyland is special. Pirates in Shanghai is a special attraction, but Mystic Manor is just there's nothing else like it in the world. There's also probably at least two that I would take from Tokyo Disney Sea. Journey to the Center of the Earth is so good. There's a lot to love, and the food, oi. Jason has a great question. If I could create a new Walt Disney World resort, what would its theming be aside from a New Orleans themed resort? Because you know exactly where I'd go. I would, I don't know if it would translate well, but like imagine a Haunted Mansion theme. Imagine a resort closely themed to certain attractions, not like a pirate's room or a Tiana room, but imagine like rooms and resorts really sort of themed much the same way as the Contemporary is connected to Tomorrowland and Fort Wilderness is connected to Frontierland and Polynesian Adventureland, but something even more deep and connected. By the way, it's going to be a short show tonight. We can maybe pick this up again next week because I have to go pick up my daughter from the airport. So I'm cognizant of time, but I'm trying to get through as many as I possibly can. Let's see. Jen says, "Thank you for helping me thank you for helping me through lockdown. I've been with January 2030. Jen is from the future, which is awesome. Nanu. What was Nanu? I don't remember what it was. Nanu. I think that what you mean, I've been with you since January 2020. Thank you. You helped me get through lockdown by allowing me to have this outlet and these conversations together." Laura said, "I just finished every episode. No DSI on Tower of Terror. Kendall Foreman, if you're still here, let's add it to the list. Tower of Terror, DSI. Speaking of Kendall, she says, during all of your interview shows, what's the one thing that one of the interviewees said that surprised or shocked you the most? The easy answer is Alice Davis. When she talked about the pirate looking like he, with the thing and the bleep, that, like, as it's happening, like, I remember looking over and a friend of mine was like, what did she just say? And on the other side of my mind, I'm going, that's podcast gold right there. Like what Alice Davis just said, because there was just no, she wasn't meant in any sort of a bad way, but that was probably it. That's the moment that immediately sticks out to me. If I was given $700 to drop in the gift shop at WDW and Walt Disney World Disney Springs, what would I buy? I'm going to give you the first thing that came to my mind. I would go in and I would apportion that $700 out so I could buy a bunch of little things, and I would walk around Magic Kingdom and give them to kids. Like it, because that's like that's something like my dad would do. Like that literally is what my dad would. When it was my dad's birthday, he would buy birthday presents for everybody else. Like Nordstrom's used to love my dad because he would walk in and he's like, okay, I need 30 bottles of women's perfume and I need 20. So that's what I would do, because taking inspiration from Disney, we too have the ability to make magic for other people. It doesn't have to be in buying them something or giving them something. It's why I talk about the choosing of the good and the positivity being contagious. You can do good for others without it having to cost anything, but it makes me, I get, I gain happiness by doing and giving to others. Like, it's why I like Christmas, not because of what I get, because of what I get to give. And I know that's probably the lamest answer, not that you wanted to hear, but it's sometimes the honest answer is the lame answer. So I should write an auto. Wait. Oh, after hearing your story about T23 magazine, I think you should write an autobiography mixed in with entrepreneurial lessons. I have no comment. Love the podcast. Kept me close to home since moving to Florida. Thank you very much. Becky says, please note, we absolutely have a London-Paris trip scheduled. Stay tuned for Lou to break the announcement soon. Coming very soon. Journey to the Center of the Earth is a fantastic ride. It's Tokyo Disney Sea. And I describe it the same way because it's how I feel. Tokyo Disney Sea is what happens when you go to Imagineering and say, here's all the money that you need, go have at it. Go do your thing. You don't need to base it on IP. Just go make magical attractions and shows and environments. And that's what that place looks like. And it's remarkably clean. Thank you, Japan. I'm going really, really quickly. The Alice Davis interview was pure gold. I love the Disney giveaway ID. Again, Ken, you don't have to do it for $700. It could be $7. Like, just the same. It's an extension of paying for the car behind you at Dunkin' Donuts, right? It's that little gesture that gets paid forward over and over again. And, sometimes you don't know how that might impact somebody's day and maybe in a way that means more than just that cup of coffee or that balloon or that tuna at the boathouse. Sue Passauer from Mouse Fan Travel. By the way, huge thanks to Sue and Grace, the entire Mouse Fan Travel team who made our very merry time cruise on the Disney Wish so very, very merry and wonderful and memorable and delicious, by the way. Thank you for what this podcast has done and for the money that's been raised for Make-A-Wish. Just incredible. Thank you again. That's all you. I just sort of started that plane in flight, but all of you through the years, whether it's been the auctions that we've done and fundraising and running team, and I forgot to mention it on the show last week, but for a variety of reasons, when I think about my mom, I think about what you all did last year. Not going to do it. When the knock on the door happened during a live show and Deanna and Lisa walked in and she surprised me telling about the fundraising efforts that she started and all of you jumped on board with for Make-A-Wish in honor of the passing of my mother. That is just an example of what an exceptional community and family that we have here. So not going to cry, not doing it. Time is wasting. I got to go fast because if I leave my daughter at the airport, she's going to freak out. Let's see. So Dan Boyle, first, thank you so much. Thank you. Second, when you're doing a dining reviews, has there ever been a food item you're totally not sold on? Maybe cut from the episode. You don't have to name them. Yes or no. Yes. And I will tell you the truth. So when we do the reviews, the reason why I do the reviews, and if you've ever done a review with me, like chime in. I've never sat down and go, listen, we have to like everything. Well, we do it that way because it's completely authentic. The only one that I never did was I was scrambling. Okay. I get this question all the time, especially when I go to speak at conferences. And especially like podcast conferences, I'll get, how many weeks in advance do you plan your show? And I laugh because you're like, oh, you use the W word, weeks, as opposed to like hours and minutes before the show, because that's often how it happens. I do a show that I would want to listen to, and I don't necessarily plan them out weeks in advance. I do what feels like I want to talk about that I think would be interesting. And sometimes when I have like something planned, and again, I've never monologued a show, thank God, other than the first one. It was awful. Now that's why I've never done it again. But oftentimes, what will happen is I'll have a guest lined up or an interview lined up, and life gets in the way, and things happen, and sometimes they cancel the day before, an hour before, and I scramble for what to do. And that happened one Sunday, and it was like late. And if you remember way back, my goal was always to get the show out before midnight on Sunday. Like, it was just this stupid personal thing that I did. So it was like Sunday at like 2:00, and I'm like, I have no show. Kids, get in the car. We're going to do a live review. And they had to go somewhere. Like, my family had to go somewhere. So we went over to Port Orleans, French Quarter, and I didn't realize it was like 2 weeks before they were going to be closing the quick service location for refurb. And like the menu was like really crummy. Like, there wasn't a lot on there. There was like a shrimp po' boy, which was more like a piece of bread with a couple pieces of fried shrimp. And we're like 10 minutes in, and I'm like, this is just a bad meal all around. And I would start talking to a cast member, and she's like, yeah, like, we're actually closing in 2 weeks. So, and I was like, got it. So this won't even be on the menu anymore. That is the only time I never aired an episode. There you go. I will always give you the honest. All right. I really have to go. I'm going to take one more question. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Take us with you on your trip to the airport. That's definitely one of my top 5 WDW Radio moments. What podcast topic would I like to revisit? You tell me. I'll leave you with this, Matt. Post that question in the clubhouse. Say, what topic would you like me to revisit on the podcast? Because I've never repeated an episode ever in almost 18 years. You tell me. I really need to go to the airport because I'm going to be super, super late. So let me just tell you this, and I will save all the mushiness for another time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you more than I can ever explain. You have changed my life. You change my life on a daily, weekly basis. You put a smile on my face. You put warmth in my heart. You embody choose the good. You are my family more than just my friends, whether we have met yet or not. Whether we have met yet or not. And if we haven't, I hope to see you on an upcoming Meet of the Month. We have one room left for Wyoming. We have one room left for our Adventures by Disney to Italy. Go to the events page at WDWRadio.com to find out more. Again, huge thanks, Mouse Fan Travel. None of this happens without you, Becky, Sue, Grace, the entire team. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love and appreciate you. Please always remember, if you want to do something for 700, don't just choose the good, be the good. Do something positive for somebody tomorrow. It doesn't have to cost you anything. Hold the door for somebody. Tell somebody they look nice. Smile at somebody, whatever it might be. That little bit of positivity can go a long, long way. I love you with all my heart. If there's ever anything I can do to say thank you to you for everything that you've given me, which is more than you know and more than I can express, please let me know. So until next time or next week, I love you. See you. Bye. I feel so bad. I'm sorry I have to go so fast. The airport's calling.